Hi everyone. So we've had a really exciting couple days. I'm sorry I didn't get to call earlier, but it has been nuts. She's here, Babel is here, and I want to introduce you to Miss Estelle Ann Linderman. We're gonna call her Stella. And she's beautiful and she's perfect. And she can't wait to meet all of you guys. Meet Stella. You love tummy time. Yeah. Stella. Me, Greg, and Stella were in our bedroom and she was giggling and everything, and I just looked at her and I go, Greg, get the camera out. We were both there and we caught it on camera, and she rolled over and it was the best thing ever. And then another hour or so later, Greg called me from downstairs and said, Jess, get down here. I think she's having a seizure. Called the pediatrician right away. She immediately said, okay, I'm gonna get you in touch with the pediatric neurologist on call, and that was Dr. Raj.
My name's Rajaraman. I'm a pediatric epilepsy specialist here at UCLA, and I'm a former Care and Cure fellow. I think the goal of Care and Cure is see kids as soon as possible. You know, the minute a seizure happens, let's get them identified and tested and get treated as soon as possible.
My first impression of Dr. Raj was he was very action-oriented and he wanted to get down to something right away.
We were able to see Stella within 24 hours of her seizure starting.
He was laying out the process of coming to an answer very clearly to us.
We're able to get EEG, MRI, and genetic testing all within a week. CDKL5 is about 1 in 40,000. I started a few years ago because we had these kids with CDKL5 deficiency disorder and they have really severe epilepsy, very severe developmental delays, and I wanted to see if we could do more for these families.
It was really hard. It was really uncomfortable. There's not a lot of information about it. He said there's a wide spectrum of how this affects people. Early onset seizures is how it first manifests. When the infantile spasms hit, they started getting longer and longer, and she'd come out of them really upset and then exhausted. So she'd cry for a little bit and then just go to sleep. At one point, she was having double digits number of seizures a day. Up until that point, she was developing appropriately as far as the doctors were saying, but then it stalled.
The seizures are so debilitating that they take away time from her life.
Because of the medicines that she was on to try to control the seizures, it took away her happiness. I mean, our happy little girl was gone. It took away her happy parents. We were exhausted. She knew we were upset because we were constantly on edge about the seizures.
We went through a period of time, probably about 6 months' time, of all these different medication approaches to arrest the seizures, and they were terrible.
When the first 3 things didn't work, we could keep trying seizure medicines. That was another option, but at that point, I had hit the block. The next step was the ketogenic diet.
The thought is that sometimes sugar or glucose can get to the brain, and that can cause issues with metabolism and the way that the brain functions. So if you're doing a ketogenic diet, you're just sending fats to the brain, and that's been shown to be effective with seizures.
Believe it or not, Stella has not had a seizure for 2 years.
We actually don't try to talk about the seizures, Jessica and I. We call it the thing we don't talk about.
The keto diet is really the one thing that's really helped her the most. Our focus right now is really her diet, just maintaining, and it's a family affair for us. My wife and I take care of preparing Stella's food for the week every week.
Because of the centers and the data we're collecting, we're wondering, should we move keto up? Should we be as the first treatment instead of waiting until later?
There's a ketogenic team that is now part of the CDKL5 team. You know, they help train us for the formula, measuring everything to the 10th of a gram.
She's been seizure-free for so long. We're so grateful for that. The time period that she had the seizures were the worst of days. Now we see the best of days in the sense that being seizure-free has facilitated her ability to start walking. She's starting to communicate. There's certain things that she's doing now that she's never done before.
What's so funny?
We're here today at UCLA to meet with Dr. Raj. Stella didn't sleep very well last night, so we're gonna see how today goes.
We are doing an NIH study. We're looking at development for our kids with CDKL5 deficiency disorder and seeing if we can measure their development over time. Today was amazing. I've seen Stella not doing very much to now she's walking independently. She is sitting by herself, she pushes herself up.
We had no idea how the day was gonna go. We didn't know if she was gonna have a temper tantrum. We didn't know if she was gonna sleep the whole time. And she killed it.
There's all sorts of different clinical testing that's being done. So Stella has the benefit of, you know, through him being exposed to a lot of these different research efforts. He's always been there for Stella and for Jessica and Greg. He's just an incredible human being.
For decades, it was a lot of treating and try to control your symptoms. And now we're kind of reaching the point where we're looking at a cure. Care and Cure, by funding clinical care, they also fund the time for these doctors to do research. If I didn't have Care and Cure, I wouldn't have been able to do research during my fellowship. Before Care and Cure, it was nearly impossible to kind of see pediatric neurologists and see an epilepsy specialist. And since then, they've made it so much easier just to see an epilepsy doctor and get your kid examined and start on their treatment. Care and Cure creates a community of epilepsy doctors who are passionate about epilepsy and who have expertise and knowledge, and they've been trained by other doctors who have been treating epilepsy for decades. This community and this network wouldn't exist without Care and Cure.
It is incredible to see how many phenomenal people and researchers and caring people are out there dealing with these challenges.